Good morning, everyone. We're almost at 10 o'clock. Just do a quick sound test. Can you all hear me? Yes, thank you. Right, that's great. Okay, right, we'll give it 2 more minutes according to my clock. We don't want anybody to be left behind. So let's give it 1 minute now. Right, good morning, everybody. It is now officially 10 o'clock. Let's get the lesson on the road. Welcome to lesson 3 of grade 10 IT. So, what are we doing this morning? Like I said, my name is Karen Anderson, and this is grade 10 IT. Today, we are going to have a look at declaring and casting variables. So we touched on it yesterday, but now I want to actually go through an activity where we look at declaring our variables and then converting them between the different data types. We're going to look at certain calculations using our numerical operators, including mod and div, because I know that mod and div sometimes confuse people. We're going to look at the fact that Delphi applies BODMAS, and we'll do a quick recap of exactly what BODMAS is. And then we're going to use some built-in Delphi functions, the functions that have been coded for us that we then just need to apply in our programs. So remember this? This is from yesterday. I'm just showing it to you to revise. Different data types, how we declare our variables, determining what they're going to be used for before we decide what data type we're going to use the variables for. Then remember as well, when I want to go from a string to an integer, I'm going to use string to int. From a string to a real is string to float. And when I output, I'm either going to say int to string, or I'm going to say float to string f, and I'm going to format the output so that it looks nice and neat. Right, let's have a look at a Delphi program. So here on my screen, you can see that I've got a very simple Delphi program. The instructions for this program look like this. So let's have a look. You've been provided with a partially completed program that looks like this. You have got to do the following. So step 1 is add code in the onActivate event of the form to do the following. So I need to change the font of the whole form to 12, the color of the panel P&L info to yellow, the font of the calculate button to be bold and italic. Now this is going to be interesting because we haven't done this yet. Well, I haven't. I'm sure you've done it in class. And then change the width of the button to 200 pixels. Now take note, this says add code. You must get into the habit of reading questions carefully. So back to my form. Oh, very naughty. I haven't named my form. So let's fix that quickly. Find the name, and I'm going to call it FRM weight. Let's hope I've spelled that wrong, and I haven't. Right, and then I'm going to select my form. I'm going to go to the Events tab, and I'm going to double click on Activate. So first step was change the form's font size to 12. So FRM weight. If I press, just as a little tip, Control space bar, it brings up, after I've typed part of my component, it brings up a shortcut. If I press enter, it'll complete it for me. So FRM dot font dot size gets the value of 12. Next step, PNL info dot color. Now this you should all know is old hat because we did it. CL yellow. BTN calculate, because that's the name of my my button, dot font dot style. Now remember I said to you I haven't covered this yet. Gets the value of. Anybody want to give me the code? Oh, too busy. Okay. Open square brackets. FS bold, comma, FS italic, close square brackets, semicolon. That's how I'm going to change the font style of my button to bold and italic. Yes, FS for font style. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my BTN calculates width. Oopsie, spelling's letting me down today, to 200. Right, now I'm not going to run my program here because this is all simple stuff. I'll rather get on to the more important stuff and I'll run it later when I've done it. So my next question says, the number of calories burned per hour of cycling is 200 and jogging is 300 calories per hour. A person loses 1 kilogram of weight for every 6,000 calories burnt. Right, so aren't we just also, no, this is not an activity from Dandelion, guys. This is one that I came up with on my own. Okay, we're going to the Dandelion activities just now. So let's have a look. Declare the following variables and assign their data type. So a variable to hold the person's name. So again, now we're in the calculate button. So suggestions, I'm going to start with a var. What am I going to call the variable to hold a person's name? Well done. S name. Who said I name? I'm assuming you're joking, right? Okay, whoopsie, and now my computer's auto-correcting for me again. Okay, so S name, colon, string. Okay, person's name is definitely text. Okay, Callum, I don't know why you disconnected. Variables to hold the number of cycling and jogging hours as a whole number. So what is the clue in the as a whole number? What am I going to be doing, declaring? Nope. Okay, right. Some of you've got it right. Some of you've got it wrong. It's going to be I cycle, comma, I, whoopsie, jog, not fog, jog, of type integer. Okay, moving on to the next part. Variables to hold the number of calories burned and the kilograms lost. Now, this is where you need to start paying attention. So if we want to work out the calories burned, I'm taking the number of hours as an integer and I'm multiplying it by 200. I'm taking the number of jogging hours as an integer and I'm multiplying it by 300. So this one could work for both. But if you look at what I'm being given here, and remember, there is always sample output. There should always be sample output in a program that you are asked to do, particularly in a test. So if I look at my sample output here, I would be safe if I declared the calories, the calories burned as an integer. However, kilograms is a person loses 1 kilogram for every 6,000 calories. So that's a kilogram per 6,000 calories. Hopefully you've paid attention in things like maths and science. If I say per, what does it mean? Okay, I'm going to agree with Reese over there, and I'm going to declare my kilograms as I kilo. But because I'm doing right, Callum, divide. If I say per, it means I'm dividing. 1,000 or 100 kilometers per hour is going to divide. So I'm going to say R calories, colon real. So there's my variables all nicely declared. Yes, div is not, well, depends on whether you're saying div or divide there, RJA, because yes, divide is correct. Well done. Okay, good. Just double checking. Fine. Read the user's name from the edit into the sname variable. So now between my begin and end, I'm going to go sname gets the value of edt name dot text. Okay, let's read a few steps ahead here. Allow the user to enter how many hours they spend cycling and jogging in a week and calculate how many kilograms they have lost. And here I've been very kind. I've even given you the actual steps to follow. So first read the values into the two edits from the cycle into the cycle and jog variable. So what's that going to look like? It's going to look like I cycle gets the value of what? What do I need to type next? Nobody? Yes, thank you, Blommy. String to int, open brackets, edt, cycle dot text. Don't forget the dot text and don't forget the semicolon. And I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to say I jog gets the value of string to int, edt, jog dot text. Okay, let's look at the next step. Calculate the total number of calories burned and store that answer in the calories variable. So what's this going to look like? Well, let's first work out. I think I've missed a step here. No, I haven't. Okay, and I've got this the wrong way around, haven't I? Why does nobody point out to me that I've done this wrong? This should be I calories, and this, oh my word, it's definitely holiday mode for me, isn't it? And this should be R kilos. So I calories is going to look like what? Can you remember the numbers? Let's have a look quickly. 200 calories for cycling and 300 calories for jogging. So what is my code going to look like? I'm going to say I jog what? Good. Times 200 plus I cycle times 300. Good. And now my next step is obviously going to be how many kilograms have I lost? So work out the kilograms. What's that going to look like? R kilo is going to get the value of what? Need to see the question again. Person loses 1 kilogram of weight for every 6,000 calories. Exactly. Well done. It's going to be I calories divided by 6,000. Whoopsie. And I still can't spell calories. Is this a problem that I'm dividing an integer? No, it's not. As long as the answer to my division goes into a real variable. Okay, it is a little bit of a trick question. Yes, I like trick questions. So when I divide, it is very, very, very important to know that you have to place the answer in a real variable every single time. Let's move on, because now obviously we've done all of this, and now we are going to output to a rich edit, which we also haven't done yet. But again, guys, you must read the instructions and look at the sample output, because there are often marks given for things that are not expressly stated in a test. So this says display the number of kilograms lost in the rich edit, formatted to 3 decimal places with a user-friendly message. Display the information in the rich edit as shown below. Yes, exactly, aesthetics. So I'm going to start with what? Red output dot lines dot add, open brackets, open inverted commas, and I'm going to retype what's in my picture there. How much have I lost? Question mark, close inverted commas, semicolon. Now, can somebody tell me what could possibly be a hidden mark in this question? Something that's not expressly stated, but will most, yes, adding an extra line. Well done. How do I do that? I say red output dot lines dot add, open brackets. What do I put between the brackets? An empty string. Okay. Vian, I see you asking about the difference between a memo and a rich edit. I did it in a previous lesson, but I will say it again. The difference is that a rich edit can hold formatted text, whereas a memo can only hold plain text. But for our purposes, we often interchange them. Okay. Right, guys, I see some of you've got it right and some of you haven't. As far as outputting an empty line in a rich edit, it must be an empty string. That is a space. You have to be able to tell the difference between the two. I don't want to put a space in that line. I want to put an empty string in that line. So it must be inverted commas with nothing between them. And I'll go back. Let's have a look again. So now I've got John, you have lost ... and how many kilograms he's lost. So now my next line is going to again be red output dot lines dot add, open inverted commas. Oh, not open inverted commas. What do I type first now? Do I type John? Is John the only person using this program? Good. S name. Does S name need inverted commas around it? No, good, because I don't want to display the word S name. I want to display the contents of the variable S name. So I'm going to say S name plus open inverted commas, put in a space because I want a space after the person's name. You have lost ... close inverted commas. Now, I don't want to have to add another line to my rich edit. Can anybody tell me, how do I make sure that the next part, if you look here, how many kilograms he's lost is on a new line? Just because it looks nice. That's the only reason I've done ... So it's like a dan, dan, dan. So what am I doing? How do I need, or how do I put the amount this person's lost? First of all, force it onto a new line. How do I force it onto a new line? I've got to say plus. Okay, cool. Not #9. It's going to be #10. Okay, #10 is like pressing enter, and I'll show you what it looks like just now. Then I say plus. Then, well done. I see Blommy's given me the code there. Float to string F. Wonderful. This is one thing that you've missed out. So let's have a look at it. Float to stir F. Open brackets. What am I outputting? R kilo, comma, FF fixed, comma, let's make it 10. Sometimes people say 6 and that's also fine. It depends on what you're using. However, what do I need to type after the comma from the 10? A 3, yes. because the instruction was 3 decimal places. And then I have one last thing that I have to add to the end of this output. I have to type plus, open inverted commas, space, kilograms, because I'm actually telling my dude that he's lost so many kilograms. And then a semicolon at the end. Right, now if I've done everything correctly, it should work. Run my program. Let's test it on some sample data. So 10 and 14. So if I've done 10, so my name is, as we all know, I've done 10 hours of jogging and 14 hours of cycling. So if I calculate it, oh dear, I haven't lost that much. I could put it on the next line, yes, if I wanted to. Please note, like I said to you here, this #10 is what's made it possible for the kilograms to be placed on the next line. Okay, and if you, yes, you could add that, press enter and put that on the next line of your code as well. Okay, right, let's have a look at if that's right, because it doesn't look like it. Okay, so 1033 kilos. Have I possibly mixed up the cycling and the jogging? Well spotted, somebody's awake. Okay, yes, look what I did. I said cycling and jogging the other way around. Yes, so let's have a look at it again. Double check my sample input. So cycling is 10. Let's do John this time. Cycling is 10. Jogging is 14, and let's hope that I get it right this time. Yay. Okay, right. Thank you, RJA, for being so wide awake. Right, on to the last step, which is something else that I haven't really done in any of these lessons. So I think it's important because, again, this should be revision. You should all be able to tell me what the code is for my retry button. Okay, I want to clear the edits. I want to clear the rich edits, and I want to set the focus back to the name edit when I click my retry button. So again, remember, go back to your form, double click on your retry button, and I see a lot of you are giving me the code. That's wonderful, or giving each other the code. EDT name dot clear. How do I clear the rich edit? Okay, and you're giving me the cycle ones. I'll type while you guys do it. Good, red output. Now both red outputs, I'll fix that now. Red out, oh my word. Delphi's not cooperating today, is it? Okay, red output.clear, red output.lines.clear will also work. And then how do I place the cursor into EDT name? So obviously I know that I'm going to need to refer to EDT name, and there we've got the answer dot set focus, semicolon. Okay, these over here, just before we move on, are called methods. So these are not properties, these are things that these components can do. Okay, so you won't find them in the object inspector, but they are code that you can type to make your edit place the cursor in that particular edit. So again, let's run the program to make sure that everybody understands. Whoopsie, I understand that a lot of you know this stuff and it's easy. Did I say EDT name twice? Okay, thank you guys. You're very kind. 10 and 14. Click it and retry. There we go. I didn't clear the jog. Okay, but you see the cursor that's blinking in first name? Okay. That is how I set the focus. Right, so that's a very simple program. Open, if it's not in the object inspector, then it could be a method, yes. Okay, right. Okay, so that's our program. I'm going to now close it. I'm not going to save it because I'm probably going to need it later. And let's go back to PowerPoint for a bit. And then we'll look at another program to work through. Okay, so as you have now seen, we can use numerical operators in Delphi just like you do in maths. And the only thing that you need to be aware of is that times and divide look different in Delphi. So we use a star to multiply and we use a slash to divide. And then you've got two other possibilities as far as your calculations are concerned, and they are div and mod. And I refer to div as primary school division. Now, I'm sure that it's way too long ago for you to have remembered, but you would maybe have known that your teacher in low primary school only ever gave you sums that would give you an answer that was exact. So they would only ever say, what is 12 divided by 3? Because they weren't teaching you about remainders or leftovers or anything at that stage. So that's why I refer to it as primary school division, because you just didn't worry about the remainder when you were in grade 3. Okay? And then mod is the part, yes, you could call it maybe exact division. Mod is the part that cares about the remainder. So we're going to have a look at a little bit more closely at those calculations. I just put this picture up here because I thought it was pretty neat, because you all learn about BODMAS in maths as well. And I'm sure that you can call out what BODMAS stands for, but this is a really nice picture. And just to remind you, in case you didn't know, BODMAS refers to the order that calculations happen. So in other words, if you have a divide or a times in a sum, then that part of the sum is going to be done before the plus and the minus. Yes, mod just gives you the remainder. Jacques, well done. Okay, we're going to look at some examples now. So the first thing, if you want to force a plus to be calculated in a sum, oopsie, you're going to put brackets around it. So let's have a look. Can you apply BODMAS to this sum and give me the answer? Okay, thank you. So give me the answer. $104. Anybody else got any answers? 44, 104, 79. Are we guessing here? Let's have a look. So because of the brackets, the minus sum is going to be done first. So 100 minus 45 is 55, plus 7 times 7 is 49. So 55 plus 49 is going to give you an answer of 104. Right, on to the next one. Can somebody give me this one? 44. Okay, so some of you were jumping the gun there. Right, let's have a look. 64 minus 20, because the multiplication has to be done before the subtraction, even though it appears 4. 64 minus 20 is going to give me 44. Well done. You can all do primary school maths. Let's move on. Okay, Delphi follows the same rules as maths in that, first of all, it follows BODMAS, and second of all, it's important to know that you cannot divide by 0 or calculate the square root of a number. Just like in maths, Delphi is going to give you a runtime error. In other words, when you run your program, it's going to crash if you try and get it to divide by 0 or calculate the square root of a negative number. And like I said just now, these calculations will always return a real number. So particularly, I cannot stress this enough. Okay, when you're sitting in a test or an exam, please remember my voice. You have to put the answer to a division sum into a real variable. Square root and power are built-in functions that we'll look at one stage. And that is also going to be returning a real value. Okay, right, my PowerPoint's not cooperating. Right, mod and div. Let's look at div first. The most important thing to remember is that mod and div are only used with integers. You cannot use mod and div for real values. Okay, so here's an example. ions gets the value of 11 div 3. ions will only hold the 3 because 11 divided by 3 equals 3. The fact that there's something left over doesn't mean anything. I don't care what's left over. Div doesn't care what's left over. Exactly, Reese, it is what it is. Okay, here's another one. ions will, if gets the value of 20 div 2, ions will hold 0. Sorry, 10. I'm nice wide awake, aren't I? Okay, and here's another one. 14 div 5, ions will hold 2 because 5 goes into 14 twice. The fact that there's 4 left over, it doesn't matter. Div doesn't care. Okay, mod is what cares. Okay, mod cares about what is left over. So, same example. 11 mod 3 is going to give you a result of 2 because 11 divided by 3 is 3, but so what? 2 is left over. What? I don't know what you mean. Okay, there's another example, same one. Here, the answer is going to be 0 because there are no remainders when 20 is divided by 2. And the same one again, the answer is going to be 4 if I use mod because 14 divided by 5 is whatever. The answer for mod is 4. Okay, right. Did you know that the 24-hour clock uses mod? So if you have a look at 1800 hours, you can work out that it's actually 6 o'clock because the calculation is 18 mod 12 equals 6. So here are some more. 2300 hours is 11 o'clock because 23 divided by 12 is whatever, but what's left over is 11. 8 or 2000 hours is 8 because 20 divided by 12 is who cares. The mod is 8 and 13 is 1. What? Alt F4 make my computer better. Why do I want to make my computer better? There's nothing wrong with my computer. And Alt F4 is just going to close PowerPoint. So you do Alt F4. Okay, give me some answers here. 25 div 6. What's the answer? Well done. Good. It's 4. 16 mod 8. Good. You guys are quick on the draw today. 3 div 10. Good. The answer is 0. 3 mod 10. Good. The answer is 3. 5 div 5. Oh, you guys are on the ball here, most of you. Is 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 5 mod 5. Excellent. And 7 mod 2. Good. The answer is 1. Well done. Now let's have a look at random. So now random is a way of generating random numbers in your program. In order to use it, remember I showed you the users list in Delphi yesterday? In order to use the random function, you have to add the word math to the users list. Okay, I'll show you what I'm talking about just now when we go into another program. This statement here is going to generate a random number between 10 and what? Well done. Good. 500. Okay, not 501. because random ignores the upper limit. Okay, so it includes 10, but it doesn't include 501. So it stops one below. Okay. Next one. This one here is going to generate what? Can somebody tell me? This uses a little bit of brain power. Okay. Daniel, are you in a rush to go somewhere? Okay. Jacques has asked me if you need to put randomize in your program. With the newer versions of Delphi, you don't actually have to type randomize. It's done automatically. Okay. Right, we've got some answers here from between 3 and 35, between 3 and 27, a random value multiplied by 3. What random value multiplied by 3? 3 and 35. Let's have a look at it. Think about it logically. Okay. 1 is my bottom range. If I generate 1 and I multiply it by 3, my bottom number is going to be 3. 12 is not actually going to be generated. What's going to be generated? 11. 11 times 3 is 33. So it's going to generate a multiple of 3 between 3 and 33. Okay. Right, how do I work this out? I divide both my lower and my upper limit by the multiple. So 3, so the question would be phrased the other way around. It would be a multiple of 3 between 3 and 33. How do I work it out? I say, right, 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 33 divided by 3 is 11. So therefore, that is what I place in my random range, and I multiply it by 33. Okay, right, here's another example. What is my code going to look like to generate a multiple of 5 between 40 and 100? So I'm going to help you a bit and bring this in. Yes, it shows 12, but remember 12, it stops one lower than the number you put at the top. So a multiple of 5 between 40 and 100. What number is going to appear as the first number? Okay, I see some of you. Right, good. 8. Let's check. Well done. What's the second number going to be? 19, 20, 21, 19. Some of you have given it to me. It's going to be 21, okay, because it needs to stop at 20. Okay, and what's this going to be? Some of you have said it already, times 5. How did I work that out? I said 40 divided by 5 is 8, so I'll put that in first. 100 divided by 5 equals 20. But then I've got to put one more because random range stops at 20, at the one lower. So my limits are going to be 8 to 21. Right, sorry, I clicked too fast there, but you've all seen this now. Then we multiply it by 5. So whatever random number is generated is then going to be multiplied by 5. Right, if I wanted to generate a real random number, then I would use the other built-in random generation function, and that is the random function. Now, it can be used for others as well. But if you just say R random gets the value of random, then it's going to generate a random number that starts with 0 point. So 0 point something random number. If I wanted to generate a real number between 1 and 99, I would then say random range 1, 99 plus random. So remember, random is going to be 0 point blah, blah, blah. Random range is going to generate a number between those, and then it's going to add the real number onto the end. Okay. You need to just know or be able to recognize how the random function works. So to generate a random number between 0 and 9, you would type random 10. So random only takes the top number. It doesn't tell me from this to this. It starts by default with 0. So very, very often, and you need to be aware of this, very often it's better to use or easier to use random range, because you can then say where to start and where to end. Okay, so iRandom gets the value of random 10 plus 1 is how I'm going to generate a random number between 1 and 10. Because the lowest possible number to be generated is going to be this random 10 statement. What's the lowest number that it can generate? Come, guys. 0, 0. There we go. Somebody's got it. Good, 0. What's the highest number it can generate? 9. Good. So if I generate 0 and then I add 1 onto it, my lowest number is going to be 1. If I generate 9 and I add 1 onto it, then my highest number is going to be 10. Okay. Right, now we're going to do another activity. We're going to look at some more built-in functions. This is what it looks like. Now this, okay, in which instances would you use random instead of random range? Really, the only instances that you would use random instead of random range is if you wanted to generate a real random number. Okay. All right, guys, we've got 5 minutes left. This here is an activity from the Dandelion Delphi book, and I'm going to be working through this activity today and tomorrow. So once again, I'll show you the PowerPoint presentation now, and then we are going, you can download it and actually sit if you can. You can then work through it with me, maybe view this on the side and just listen to my voice or something. So quickly, I just want to show you, there's code in here, don't start copying. I want to show you the users list. Okay, here is where you need to add math. Yes, it's for the grade 10 Dandelion Delphi, guys. Okay, I will show you where to do it. So add math to the users list and then you can use random range. So we'll carry on with this activity tomorrow. Okay, what have we learned today? Delphi does maths like we do, so it applies the same rules. Mod and div are integer division operators. Dividing always returns a real value, and there are many different ways to generate a random number. Okay. The textbook, you can get the actual textbook electronically on a website called ITSI. Okay, so, but of course, obviously, you have to pay for it. But I've got the textbook. I will be showing you the questions as I go through them. But here, if you take a photo or a screenshot, if you're on your phones, here is where you will get the data that you can download. And then you can work with me through the rest of the week. Okay. Okay, we've got 4 minutes. I'm going to leave this up. Is there anything that anybody would like to ask me before we finish off? Okay, everybody's going off to either watch the next lesson or have some breakfast or what? No, nobody's got any questions. Please send how to download Delphi. Use the play sound function. Why would you want to do that? Yes, you can make a countdown on Delphi. You would actually just need to add a timer. All right, so Ditlof, you are asking about the float to string F function again. Ruben, I explained mod and div. It depends on exactly where your power tripped as to what you missed. Okay, so while we're waiting, let's quickly go back to float to string F over here. Or while we're finishing off. So somebody asked me about this. Remember, the way that this works is float is to convert a real value. Okay. Then I'm going to convert to a string formatted. That F means it has to be formatted. So I'm formatting my variable, or I'm converting my variable from a float to a string. The format I'm using is FF fixed. Okay, I did random range already. Sorry, Ruben, you'll have to look up 10 is how many spaces I'm setting aside to display my number, and the 2 over here indicates the number of decimal places. So this is going to output rnum as a fixed number that can occupy 10 blocks and have 2 decimal places. Okay, then somebody else, Bridget's asked about edtName.setFocus. So what edtName.setFocus does is it places the cursor in the actual, in that particular component. I didn't save my changes. So if I say edtName.setFocus, when I click the retry button, it puts the blinking cursor in edtName, which means that the user can just start typing. Okay. Vian, there's probably nothing wrong with using format float. To be honest with you, I've never used it myself, because generally our float to string F is the one that everybody uses. Okay, the M is, I'm putting an M after it. So this is going to display length, and whatever the actual length is that's stored in rnum to 2 decimal places plus an M after it to say M for meters. So it would be 25.00 meters. Okay, guys, you can find the previous lessons on YouTube. Okay, so all of them have been uploaded with all the chatting and all the rest of it in YouTube. Okay. Yes, the link that you used to get to this lesson today will also be there, the same one that you use for tomorrow. Okay. Anything else? Okay, right, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in again, and I hope to see you tomorrow where we can work through our built-in functions activity. I recommend that you download that data so that you can either work with me or you can go through it after the lesson and make sure that you're doing everything that you need to. Thank you. Bye.